Alrighty then. Successful indie author, 5 minute focus, episode 1093, The Heart of the Story. This is usually the idea you have, the inspiration for a story, whether it's a twist, whether it's a character, whether it's a situation. You have this idea. It's like, yes, I can wrap a story around that. Now you have to take a good hard look, because when you commit, is it enough story for 10,000 words, for 50,000 words, for 150,000? How much story can you wrap around this heart? And that's what you have to come to a decision to about at the beginning, because otherwise you start writing and a lot of people get lost halfway through. They had a good idea, they started writing, and then it petered out. It was good, but not good enough to carry a full story forward. So what is the heart of your story? That's one thing you have to capture. Usually it's a tagline, a character, the twist. The butler did it. Oh my God, that's a twist. And that's, I reference Hercule Poirot and Sherlock Holmes, because they both have their quirks and they are both the heart of their stories. For Sherlock Holmes, it's deduction. It's the deductive reasoning, and Dr. Watson as a sidekick, but all of it goes together. And what is the arc of the story? But it still comes back. It's all about Sherlock Holmes. Hercule Poirot, it's stimulating those gray cells so he can take in all the information. He asks questions, he observes, but it's still Poirot. Is it the reveal at the end? And that's where you throw in the twist. You make the characters, you bring the whole story together from all these different arcs that you're intertwining. Is it the victory in battle? Lord of the Rings. What was the heart of the story? The heart, I think, was two hobbits who were friends who would do anything for each other to save the world. Everything else is side story, sub story, all of the languages. It still comes back down to Frodo and Sam. And J.R.R. Tolkien, he said Sam was the main hero of the story, because without Sam, it wouldn't have come to fruition. Frodo, Sam, their friendship, what they would do for each other, what they would do for the whole world. The selfless act that leave the Shire, who does that? That's the heart of the story. And then all this other cool stuff that's wrapped around it, but the heart of the story. That's the kernel of the idea that you have to commit to, because it might be 80 hours of your writing time, it might be 160 hours, it might be 500 hours of writing time. Is that kernel enough to bear all of that time that you're going to invest? Is it worth the investment? So what's the heart of your story? Is it just a good idea that isn't fleshed out enough to carry the whole story from start to finish? And if it is, but it's not super great, as in all encompassing, then make it a short story, make it a novella, make it a smaller story, because all people want is a complete story. They don't want half of a book and then, oh, by the way, there's a bunch of fluff just to make a word count. They want a whole story, whether it's 30,000 words, whether it's 130,000. I've had books that were 50,000 words that said too long, and I've had books that were 100,000 words that said too short. You have to make sure you get all of those tendrils in there and addressed around the heart of the story. You've got the heart, but then there's so much more to the body of a story than just that, but you have to have the heart. So decide on that when you go out to write. Decide on, is it big enough? Is it a big heart that can then carry the whole story? And you can wrap all this other stuff and add stuff and more stuff and all kinds of side plots and subplots and tendrils and interesting side facts. And all of a sudden, hey, I've got a big long book, but it's still the heart. The heart beats the heartbeat of the story. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Cultivate that idea and decide early, is it enough to invest 20 hours of your time or 160 hours or all of your time to get this story written, because that heart is so profound. Peace, fellow humans.